with us Dr. A. Velumani. He was a scientist with the BARC and he is a well-known entrepreneur. He was the founder, chairman, and managing director of Throcare, which he started in 1996. Sir belongs to a place nearby to Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu, and he did his BSc from Madras University. And later, when he joined BARC, approx 14-15 years with the BARC, and he acquired MSc degree and a doctorate degree in thyroid chemistry from University of Mumbai. So, as we know, Thyrocare was a franchisee model which was into diagnostic laboratory and offered affordable testing services. So it became the largest thyroid testing laboratory with more than 1,000 outlets across India, Nepal, Bangladesh, and the Middle East. So as we know, Thyrocare was listed in the year 2016 and it was subscribed overwhelmingly 73 times. And there is one more Nuclear Healthcare Limited, radiology diagnostic with its branch in Mumbai, and it's basically cancer-related imaging services, which are available almost at half the cost of the other providers. And as we know, Thyrocare was sold to Pharmacy in the year 2021. So with this introduction, we request Velumani sir if we missed on something or the introduction from your part, sir, and then we'll move on to questions from the audiences.
Thank you very much. Thanks for hosting a special session in healthcare and calling me to be a part of it. I don't own or I don't have, I'm not an authority in entire healthcare. In entire healthcare, pharma is equally important and non-pharma is 50%. In the non-pharma, what is known as hospital, diagnosis 50%, treatment is, or even diagnosis only 20%, treatment is 80%. And in diagnosis, radiology is 40-50%, and the remaining only is pathology. And even in pathology, pathology has three verticals: pathology, microbiology, and biochemistry. I didn't do pathology, I didn't do microbiology, I took only biochemistry. Again, on biochemistry, there are two segments. One is what you call as a chronic illness, another is acute illness. I was more focused on chronic illness, not on acute illness. In other words, first time somebody could identify diseases different and disorders different. Diseases come and go, disorders come and they don't go. So a lot of things were a part of the Thyrocare success, and I keep telling people focus gives success. And when I started Thyrocare with the name thyroid, everybody was advising me, a 15-gram gland इसमें क्या ज़्यादा मिलेगा? I think if at all something went right, it was the brand name Thyrocare. And I had a courage to put up only 7 tests in my menu. All 7 thyroid tests only. I did not do CBC, I did not do blood sugar to start with. Very unique it was. And then maybe I was there in right time and did right things with the right spirit. A lot of room was there for to disrupt, and probably I did it when no one understood what is disruption. I can keep on talking. I just wanted to add to what you gave as an introduction. This is the background. We'll be very happy to answer the questions. If it is in diagnostics, well and good. And if it is hospital care, well and good. But I have no real knowledge about pharma segment. So keep your questions as much as possible towards healthcare. Go ahead, whoever wishes to, either the co-hosts or speakers, and if they are done with, we can take questions from listeners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, I would ask about the prosperity with that today's title for our space is the role of consolidation and efficiency. So, an overview I would request from your side, and again, I would request you be a bit louder because the voice was breaking in between. Thank you, sir.
Just hold on, let me come out of Wi-Fi. Right. Am I now little more clear?
Yeah, better, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, why I said the role of consolidation and efficiencies. See, when I entered into the business, pathology business was only town specific, city specific. At the maximum, 100 kilometers from the city was some large player was doing. No one thought it can be done at a national level. I felt uh, business which is related to chronic illness, unlike the acute illness where patient is waiting in the bed for getting the report and getting the treatment started. I felt that I can do a centralized laboratory. So I first started only for South Mumbai. Then I did for entire Mumbai. Then I added for Surat and Pune and Nasik, which were 3 4 hours train journey. Then I thought it is only 2 hours by air, Delhi, Calcutta, and Chennai should be doable. So this is known as consolidating for the entire country in a single laboratory, which probably was not thought of by many people. Maybe I also didn't think that this will land up as such a wonderful project. Had I had enough money, I would have put laboratory everywhere. Had I felt investor can be always asked to give money, I might have probably gone to investors and put many laboratories. So what happens when you do is consolidation? Your machines are having enough business to run 20 hours to 22 hours in a day. I keep telling I have done a Uber kind of innovation, which means before Uber came into picture, taxis were standing for 20 hours and running for 4 hours. Subsequently, they run for 20 hours and stand for 4 hours. So is a thyroid testing machine. If you put in every location, you will not have any much workload. So if my balance sheet looked impressive, that was because I consolidated and from all over the country using air cargo logistics every night, same night before midnight. The sample used to come and we used to work only at night. It was a very, very different way of approaching, unlike conventional players. As I said, consolidation gets volume to one floor. That increases the efficiencies. I used to tell a punchline. A standing machine is a liability and a running machine as an asset. I think throughout healthcare in our country, even worldwide, there are lots of inefficiencies. The operation theaters, which can really function something like 100 hours in a week, are hardly functioning for 10 hours a week. If you take things like that, even CT machines, MRI machines, of course, off late they're running for more than 10, 12 hours. But otherwise, even today, there are many hospitals where they run only for 4 hours or 6 hours. Efficiencies are very, very important. And let me uh, conclude my explanation about the title by telling that if you make profit from the customer, that is not sustainable profit. But if the profit comes because of the floor efficiency, that is sustainable. When you get profit from floor efficiency means your cost of creating a service is lowest in the market. So this is the brief background and we'll be very happy to answer if there are some specific questions towards it.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Ravi, you must have good questions to ask from sir.
Yeah, sir, when you are talking about efficiencies,
like what you built on thyro treatment, where are the other works other companies or India as a whole is working on in terms of bringing efficiency, uh, like you pointed out on the hospital OT side, but where are there are large scale changes which are coming in operations and hospital business or diagnostic, which can improve in terms of quality of service coming to consumer at a very low price? Something like anything which you have done earlier, anything which is happening by other companies right now.
See, in that way, many haven't really taken note of Arvind Eye Hospital of Madurai, a tier 2 town. They focused very clearly on removing blindness in rural India. But what made them very powerful is the efficiency. If in any hospital an eye surgery takes 2 hours, in their hospital the eye surgery used to take 20 minutes or even less. If any other hospital was taking a medical doctor's attention for 1 hour for a surgery, here it will take only 10 minutes for the surgery. To that extent, it was completely automated kind of thing. I said it because not necessarily only diagnosis, even treatment. Not necessarily just treatment, even surgery. That too, even eye surgery, which is said to be more complicated. Why I say this is hardly anyone has truly consolidated, optimized to get efficiency. You look at Narayana Hridayalaya, which is once again focused on heart. I have a reason to believe theirs is also a consolidated, optimized, efficient model, which according to me is doing very well. The big problem happens is when you have presence in all districts in the country, and if you want to give quick result, you need machine standing very close to the customer. That means you have very small market to cover, and it won't run for more than 2 hours in a day. Having said that, there are two kinds of doctors, there are two kinds of hospitals. One kind is patient is waiting for the doctor. Another kind is doctor waiting for the patient. So this is inefficiency if the doctor is waiting for the patient. So to my opinion, either a joint practice or a kind of business model tweaking so that no man is sitting, every man is working. No machine is standing, every machine is running. If somebody can ensure that, that business will have highest profitability.
So picking on this, like you pointed out on Arvind and Narayana, so is it wise to say that a super specialty place which focuses on single kind of function, Narayana or even HCG, which works on oncology, they will have higher efficiencies and should eventually go to a higher margin kind of business? And also from our side, like most of the participants are from capital market, what's your understanding in terms of valuation, say globally? Do super specialty trade at a higher valuation compared to in terms of multiple, and so do they command premium to something like which gives all kind of services?
Right. I think there are too many questions. Let me recall the questions. Number one is the option of single specialty or multiple specialty. If I am asked, I will tell multi specialty is security and single specialty is long term prosperity, which means multi specialty you will certainly have a viability and a fairly good marriage. But multi specialty scalabilities are not that simple. Leaving a couple of brands in the country, especially the ones who have been working now for more than even 20 years, the multi-specialty scalabilities are challenged. Single specialty is much easier to scale. Only big problem with single specialty is first 5, 7, 10 years might go without profitability. I used to tell in the village language, one business is coriander, another business is banana, third business is coconut. Coconut will give late results, but it will give results for 5, 6 decades. Not banana, not coriander. So single specialty doing needs a lot of courage, conviction, bold, risk taking. But I have a reason to believe when I analyze the scripts and their multiples in developed markets, the single specialties are having much higher multiples. I have a reason to believe even in India, a couple of emerging single specialties, especially in pregnancy and surgery alone, they are doing well. And I don't know when they get listed and post listing after 5, 6 years only, you will know that truly what is the multiple. But in my opinion, single specialty is one which will give better returns to the investor.
Yeah, Prince, go ahead.
Sir, some listeners have also asked. I think some voice issue. Can you check with your connection or maybe try to speak a bit louder, please? Sorry to interrupt again.
This is the issue with me.
Yes, sir. They are saying the volume is, comparatively less. Now you spoke, it was better.
Okay. Okay, now I will start loudly, don't worry. And I am also changing my place. Ask questions.
Let me again go ahead. Sir, I wanted to know one thing. As an investor, now we always give this logic that diagnostic diagnostic is about a very small portion of entire, like finding out the disease and what the diagnosis would be, a very small portion, say single digit of the entire health, while it decide what kind of treatment a patient would go. So with this thought in mind, is it better to say that diagnostic will grow much faster than entire hospital spend in India? Because this is where you are spending 5%, 10% of the entire bucket, and this decide what the treatment, what the medicine should go. This decide the course for entire 90% then. So is that thought correct? Do you see that transition happening, that this diagnostic will grow at much faster pace than the entire healthcare
Yeah.
spend from India?
So the question is the patient's requirement. When you look at the percentage of diagnostics, medicine, surgery, all these things will be ratio wise will be varying. As far as what I see in India, it's around 10 to 15% is diagnostics. 25% is medicine. Remaining are all non-medicine, non-diagnostics. Will it change or not? It's very difficult for me to tell, because the more you diagnose, the more you treat. So its volume may go up, but the percentage of revenue of what patient pays for diagnostics may not truly change. So this is my opinion as far as the pie diagram of revenue in the healthcare is concerned. But that is not very important. What is very important is that adequate testing done for a patient in India? The answer is no. In a Western world, for a patient in a year, if 10 tests are done, in India, for a patient, not even one test is done. That is because, again, that's a matured, developed market. India will take maybe 10, 20 years to become a matured market. But the ratio might remain same, but the volume certainly will grow. This is my inputs for your question.
Sure, sir. I'll let other Samarth, I guess, have something to ask, and then
Yes, sir.
we can...
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, one question, sir. As an entrepreneur, you started your journey back in 1990s. So, as an entrepreneur, this was a non-organized sector at that time. So what was the biggest challenge did you faced at that time, sir? Because logistics would be a problem.
I
One,
must tell you, everything was a problem. For any entrepreneur who gets inside, you ask him, everything is a problem. You are new into the market. First and foremost, I was a scientist and I never knew what is business. Second thing was, I knew only thyroid, I did not know pathology. Third thing was, to do this kind of sample transportation, logistics is very, very important. And that time, I'm talking 1995, there was no courier system only. And then IT today is very vital in running business, especially in services industry. And I don't think in 1995 anybody had a web server with them. And HR is something which is not at all understood by people even today, but that was again a challenge. Nobody will come and join in an unbranded entrepreneur. Having said that, everything was the problem, but market was not a problem. Market was having a good pricing, which was sufficient enough for me to disrupt. And number two, this market, there is a punchline I will tell you. No one opens the syringe before the patient opens the purse, which means you are getting paid upfront and you don't have to truly wait for money to come in. And I think there were enough challenges, enough opportunities, enough comforts, all were there. But yes, somebody has to get inside, learn things. निकल पड़ो रास्ता अपने आप बनता है. So I just got inside, made a lot of mistakes, made them very fast and ensured that I didn't repeat the mistakes. So this is common for every entrepreneur then or now. But I can't sit and my children are wondering, Dad, was that we started a business before even internet came? Is that we managed to do a business without a mobile? So all these things, in fact, the word entrepreneur was never heard by me till I finished 10 years. So ecosystem was different. Environment was different. There were adequate challenges, but they were different challenges those days, and today it's very different challenges. I hope I have answered you.
yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Uh, Value educator, you have any questions from sir? Yeah. Although we discussed it yesterday, but I still want your opinion. Like, how easy or difficult it is to capture the market share from the unorganized?
See, unorganized is slowly finding it difficult to survive. Not only in pathology business, even doctors who are standalone, not branded, diagnostic centers standalone, not branded. Why that? Even ordinary kirana dukan, which is unbranded, anything unbranded is having challenge. So people are moving from unbranded to branded. So some consolidation is taking place. But the big challenge here in the industry is, and I don't know about other industry, in pathology industry, if the market is growing 10 to 12% per annum, then counts of competitors are growing maybe 15 to 20%. Since this business has huge profit margins, everybody sees very easy to start. What you need is 300, 400 square feet, and you can put one or two machines and you can start operating if you have 4-5 well-wishers as doctors. So Indian healthcare system itself is fragmented. When I tell fragmented, 90% of the medical doctors are practicing standalone, only 10% are attached to big hospitals. So that itself gives room for laboratories to function standalone, because standalone doctor wants standalone laboratory only. So consolidation will take place in terms of unorganized to organized. But when I talk about and tell the word consolidation, it is to see how can you get more business to same floor. Instead of putting more floors, if you can get business from multiple cities to one city, The next day morning reporting is something which I did from the day one till I exited. I used to have the laboratory in Navi Mumbai, and I used to report only next day morning, even for Navi Mumbai. Kashi ho ya vashi. Next day only was the result available. This was my conviction, which made me to consolidate. But if somebody is under pressure to give a thyroid report within 2 to 3 hours, which is a disorder which is going to remain lifelong, they will end up putting in Mumbai itself 10 locations in every district headquarters one. That means everywhere machines will be there, volumes will not be there, volumes are not there, the profitabilities will be less because efficiencies will be low. So that is what I want to call as consolidation and its necessity and its challenges. Any more questions?
Sir, what is, I mean, we have pricing pressure in the industry. So, what is the best way to tackle this? I mean,
See, pricing pressure is there in every industry. You ask everyone whether he is a photographer or whether he is even a pan dukan wala or even vada pav wala. Everybody will tell competition ajkal. I think my punch again is there are two kinds of people. One who always sees competition, another one who always sees an opportunity. जिसको भगवान दिखता है उसको पत्थर नहीं दिखता है, जिसको पत्थर दिखाई देता है उसको भगवान नहीं दिखाई देगा. So there is no true competition in that sense in such a huge market. Everybody has enough to have a business provided he is honest in terms of quality, in terms of pricing, in terms of presentation. There is enough business. I don't think that's any big challenge. Yes, there are many people coming inside. Many coming inside itself says there is too much of business. Otherwise, everybody will not come inside. So I look at it as today there is more business opportunity than the competition.
right, sir. Shrini, you have any questions?
Yes, Prince D. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dr. Velumani. Big fan. Your journey is a big inspiration to
Thank you.
all of us. Thank you for sparing your precious time. Short question, sir. We are seeing, the consumer purse, to borrow the language, consumer purse in other categories, automobile and some FMCG type. The number of purses seems to be reducing. Sometimes the money in the purse is reducing. When they are patients, are you seeing any effect like this, or it's not relevant because this is a different type of spend?
No, with all said done, and the pyramid is pyramid. Rich is there, but rich are less. Poor are there, but poor are many. So this pyramid is applicable in every industry. And healthcare also is an industry where some people don't go for testing too often or as often as it is needed. For example, a diabetic man must monitor a set of things every quarter. I don't think that is happening. They think once in a year is more than enough. In other words, in India, the preventive healthcare is hardly anything. In Western world, more than 50% is preventive care. In India, it's hardly 5 to 10%. That too, because in the recent days, a lot of competition and lot of packages are made. I created an Arogyam as a profile, and today the same Arogyam profile is nooks and corners of the country. People are producing. So tests have become cheaper. Because they have become cheaper, some consumption has gone up. But having said that, people still feel 1,000 rupees will get them a better buffet dinner rather than getting a wellness package. So priority is not there for healthcare as of today. Of course, COVID has brought in some significant improvement. People always feel the neighbor only will die because of heart attack. They will not be. But then the challenge is per capita income is low. Let me dwell on it a little more. What we know in India is a per capita income of anything from $3,000 to $4,000 per annum, whereas the developed countries have $30,000 to $40,000 per annum, 10 times more. And they spend 17% of that their GDP, 15 or 10 to 15%, 17% of GDP. In India, we hardly spend 2 to 3% of GDP. So if you ask me, with these $3,000, roti, kapada, makan is 1,000 each. So for healthcare, there is no money available. As much as equity market is expanding for the last 2 years, I see the number of demat account holders are growing in the last 2 years. Similarly, the healthcare, the investing community and the healthcare opportunity both will be next future. And per capita income, if it doesn't go up, the consumption will not go up. If money is not there, testing will not be done. Testing, if it is not done, you will come to know very late about a problem, and when you diagnose late, and your treatment costs will be high. Unfortunately, insurance is not covering even today the diagnostics aspect of it as it should. And biggest challenge is the government is not spending adequate. So a lot of challenges are there. But having said that, in my personal opinion, next 25-35 years is going to be the best period for healthcare stocks to get the best growth and value.
Thank you, sir. Very detailed answer. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. We have one question from Shashank, value educator. He is asking, like, in when you were into business, when things were not going right, how did you tackle those times?
No, Aisa nahi that things were not going all right. I must tell you, 27 years, it was a heaven. Never I had a problem. A company which has never borrowed. A company in which nobody has put in money. Nobody has, though I have gone to an IPO. IPO was not to take money inside the company. The private equity money never came inside the company. Such a wonderful business, very fast growing, 25 years, a CAGR of 25%. I don't think even somebody can dream like that. With a 40% profitability every year. I think I was blessed to have landed in thyroid. I must tell you, thyroid sounded like Android for me. And I did not ever have any distress. Things were going perfectly all right, except the last 1 or 2 years. So you must wonder what is that last 1 or 2 years. The COVID came in. COVID was an opportunity for everyone. And I had created a very fast capacity of doing 40,000 RT-PCR per day. And I had a very powerful network. So I picked up sample from everywhere. Now, Velumani was destroying the business opportunity for the people, stakeholders in the COVID management. So I was blocked right and left, banned right and left. Every other day there was a news item telling that this municipality has banned Thyrocare, this municipality has banned Thyrocare. Without giving a reason, a so-called notice, I was arrested. I went to High Court and worked a lot to reverse a lot of such harassment. But having said that, that was a very unfortunate situation the country was facing, and challenges were there. Otherwise, the business had never had a situation where आगे क्या करेगा ऐसा एक situation था ही नहीं है. I must tell you here, I left a BRC job not because I wanted to do a better job. BRC job was the best job one can ever dream of. I also haven't left Thyrocare business to do some better business. There can't be a better business than Thyrocare business. So in my opinion, this journey of not only Thyrocare, it is, and I don't think either Metropolis or LOL or any of the players, I don't think any challenge is there. Some growth pangs will be there. Some employee retention will be there. Some centers may not do well, but in overall, if I ask me, it was a heaven. Thank you.
Sir, can I ask you a question? My name is Devashish Datta.
Go ahead.
So this information is slightly dated before COVID times. So I worked in telecom, but with telecom, we were working on healthcare across Africa, Asia, South Asia, and Southeast Asia. And then I quit my job, and so I looked at healthcare in India, and these are stats, and this therefore the concern. And so if you meet the Hospital Association in India, which is in Delhi, next to the WHO building, as per them, 50-bed hospitals overall, they are about 2,000. So if you do the calculation based on that, basically you get a very small number. Now there are 2650 STD codes in India, so you can assume there are those many districts in India. So if I do a back of the envelope calculation, as per me, we have approximately about 20 lakh hospital beds for a population of 1.4 billion. Now, the other calculation which I also did at that time is if you set up a 500-bed hospital, it'll cost you at least $1 billion. Most of the cost is land, which of course they can then negotiate with the government of that city to get it cheap. But it is expensive. It's almost like setting up a hotel. It's a very asset-heavy model, is what I'm trying to say. The third thing is when I looked at doctors and I consulted with a lot of them to figure out, the HIS system, the hospital information system.
Sir, just to interrupt you, Devashish, sir, can you please make
I
the
was
question
about to
brief?
tell him, ask me a question, but then I didn't feel like it.
So the thing is, sir, the challenge is it is so expensive and the doctor community is not aligned to getting efficiencies. How do you address those challenges to make a breakthrough?
See, I have been telling that consolidation, volume generation, and the optimization is very important for profitabilities. Now, there are some companies. Let us look at even a telecom industry which you say you were with. MTNL never made profit. Airtel and Jio are making a lot of profit. So it's nothing to do with industry. It is to do with their efficiencies. In airline industry, Air India never made profit, but Indigo at least in between made a lot of profit. So if you ask me, it is nothing problem of the industry. It is the problem of the stakeholders who are the players who haven't got an efficient model to operate. I think look at the hospitals numbers, they are not discouraging. But having said that, if somebody has put up an ordinary casual hospital, not a good quality of service and not a fair pricing, it's very difficult for them to make money. Cutting the long story short, what do you do is not as important as how do you do. Whether it is diagnostics, or whether it is pharma companies, or whether it is hospitals, or whether it is non-healthcare, everywhere, only an efficiency can give returns to the investor, nothing else.
Hi,
Yeah,
can I ask a question, sir?
Yeah,
My
Mr.
name is
Imran, 1 minute. Mr. Imran, 1 minute. Dr. Cardio.
Yeah, 1 second, Samar. Devashish sir, have you got your answer or you have any follow-up question?
No. So the way I understand it is what Dr. Velumani is saying is the challenges are big, but how you go about doing it is, and that's where actually I got stumped, sir, because I found the community of doctors to be extremely, this guy drives an A6, an Audi A6. He is MD. He is an HOD of a prominent hospital. I'm just taking a caricature. Don't take it as a personal thing. But what I'm trying to say is that he's happy. He's making, anything in excess of 15 to 20 lakhs a month. So my point is, if he's happy, why would he want disruption? And change will happen only through disruption. And that, therefore, I found it very challenging.
Okay, let me give you a punchline. Success is never a problem. Sustaining the success is the biggest problem. Next question, please.
Yeah, Dr. Cardio. Good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Vikas Purohit. I'm a cardiologist. My question to sir is that right now WHO is considering health for all initiative, and in future we will see that cost of the treatment will come down, and obviously our governments are all over the India are also pitching in. There are multiple health schemes are there. So what I'm seeing that over the time the margin of whether any operative procedure or any investigation is there, margins are coming down, the packages are very less, but the volumes of them are increasing, and we are also expecting the all diseases as our population grow next 10 to 20 years, we are expecting more people will get disease. These are the government and WHO estimates, but the packages which you previously, like for example, I'm a
What is
cardiologist.
the question, sir?
So my question is that how you say in next year healthcare in next 10-20 years, as the procedure volume will grow, but margin will come down heavily on investigation as well as on treatment part.
See, I told about Arvind Eye Hospital. There is no one charging as less as Arvind Hospital is charging, and no one has more profit than Arvind Eye Hospital. They do, I think, 2 patients out of 5 patients they do free of cost also. What I'm trying to tell is, as a cardiologist or as an MD doctor, as a medical doctor, 80% of the work done by the medical doctors is a paramedical work. You need to rework on it. मैं एक बार एक पंचलाइन से सवाल पूछता हूँ, आप काम करते हैं या काम कराते हैं? So lot of work can be got done using trained MBBS, trained BSc, MSc. So in my personal opinion, currently you have enough margin, so you are not trying those procedures. You will be naturally forced to employ trained staff who are paramedical to do all paramedical work, and medical work only a medical doctor should do. Many are now reviewing and reworking on it when they understand that they have to do more cases. Medical community doesn't believe that somebody else can do that work as efficiently as they can do, but that is not true. You can make a man to do as good as you are doing. So in my personal opinion, the turnover will go down, but absolute profit will improve.
Thank you, sir.
Imran, you go next.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible, Doctor.
Yes.
Thanks for the opportunity, Doctor. I am an investor. I just wanted to understand from your side if you can tell us, these standalone patient service centers, right, in the diagnostic space, especially the in vitro diagnostics. Sir, how stressful they are, given the situation currently we are in, because the bigger players can only, have efficiencies and all those things, but for them they have to give a 30-40% cut to the doctor, and then 25-30% on the reagents, rent, employee salary and all those things. So how large this market was, and what do you think, this market is currently?
It's very difficult for me to give a business model and profit with a cut in the system and cut for the agents. That's very, very unfortunate. Having said that, again, I think the word is volume and efficiency. If you have a walk-in center, that walk-in center can manage anything from 2 patients to 200 patients a day. So if you only get single digit number of patient, आप दुकान बंद करना ही पड़ेगा 2 साल के अंदर. अगर आपके पास 25 पेशेंट रोज वॉक इन करते हैं तो आपको प्रॉफिट बहुत आएगा. अगर समझो 100 पेशेंट आ ही गया है, इससे ज्यादा प्रॉफिट किसी भी बिजनेस में नहीं है. So I think what we need to look at it is the capacity of the the premises fully utilized. I must once again tell you, if every square feet is used, the profitability is highest, be it a hospital, diagnostic center, or even a collection center. So खर्च तो रहेगा, सबको तो खिलाना पड़ेगा, लेकिन वॉल्यूम रहेगा। सब कुछ होने के बाद भी आपको प्रॉफिट आएगा। वॉल्यूम पकड़ने के लिए रास्ता पकड़िएगा। ऐसा है कि एज ऑफ टुडे the communication between the customer and the laboratory is very, very weak and poor, though it has improved in the last couple of 10-20 years. It will take little more time. Patient is scared to knock the doctor's door, though he has problem, because he does not know अंदर एक बार घुस गया 1000 खर्च होएगा या लाख खर्च होएगा. So this is the biggest problem, and lack of confidence, lack of trust, all are the major problem. There is no problem with the discipline and its profitability. Now the voice is all right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir, it's fine. So in the meantime, sir, let me ask one question. The government tie-up in diagnostic industry, how you see it? I mean, how profitable it can be as a business? Because dealing with government is not a, I mean...
See, one problem, I think there is a, in fact, a misnomer what is known as public-private partnership. Public-private partnership is meant for high capex infrastructure like roads, tolls, bridges. All those things need public-private partnership, where too much of money is needed, too much of administration is needed. In a pathology business, I don't think anything really is a capex. Any laboratory to put up, it needs only 2 crores, 3 crores. I don't think government is needed. Having said that, what is happening in the industry is contracts. This is not public-private partnership. Each state government asks any private player, at this rate, I want you to give service. And there are many people who agree to do at that rate. And government chooses who has better strength and gives that business to them. Of course, they ask what percentage in the given rate also you can give. So it's a very good system. It works very well. All that laboratories who could get government business have got very high, very good turnover. But the big challenge is, in government business, the money part is taking sometimes 1 year. And even after 1 year, without what you call as greasing the palms, you can't get the money out. So all those challenges are there. Otherwise, I think in the long run, what government should do is give to the laboratory on a contract and ensure that in that contract quality is delivered and they are paid. I think this will work. Government can never produce it by itself an efficient solution. It will be an R&D again. So it should be in the hands of private and dictate rate. Private laboratories can agree for any rate. I think I have learned in the COVID days. In the COVID days, we were all asked to bid for governments like Jharkhand, Bihar, and even Maharashtra, different parts of Maharashtra districts. But let me tell you, the rates quoted by the laboratories was unimaginably low. Which means what? In diagnostics, turnover पकड़ना मुश्किल है, profit बनाना मुश्किल नहीं है. This is my inputs.
So Ravi, Samarth, any questions from your side? And Shashank, if you are not traveling, you can also ask. Yeah, Ravi.
So I want to know one thing. Like now, lots of private equity kind of investors are entering. So does it bother you in terms of their there would be very much profit driven at the end, and right now might be they are charging very low, and eventually will disrupt the market in terms of we have lots of unorganized players, and then they will milk patient. Is this thing bothers you?
It doesn't bother me now because I have exited. Until I exited, it was bothering. In other words, there were many who were into business. Somebody who runs a laboratory will be told by an investor, I will give you $2 million if you can grow the business. The guy tells, sir, I can't grow the business until I reduce the rate. Then reduce the rate. Sir, if I reduce the rate, there won't be any profit. It has no profit needed, you burn. Now, this burning of investor money did not happen till year 2000. Subsequently, a lot of interest was seen in diagnostic scripts, and especially after the 3 major laboratories got listed and their multiples were very high all over the country. Every laboratory received $2 million to $20 million, depending upon the size, and all what they did was burn. The big problem in diagnostics, specifically laboratory test, is without this volume, this rate is not possible. And without this rate, this volume is not possible. Which means you need somebody to invest heavily so that you become one in top 5. We have been 4 laboratories, top 4 for the last 20 years, SRL, Metropolis, Lal, and Thyrocare. And no one could reach there in terms of volume, only because, as I said, it isn't easy unless otherwise you burn the money. Coming to the specific answer to your question, everybody feels they will take off. They think that it is only the runway burning, but unfortunately, after reaching a 20 crore, 30 crore turnover, they are unable to go to the 100 plus size. Now, this is what happened, not 1 or 2. There are 100 units across India which are 40, 50, 60 crores, and they are not in a position to go 100 plus crores. So this is some kind of peculiar problem, because when you have very low volume, you have very high profit. When you have very high volume, you have very high profit. In between, no profit. Now tell me how people will travel through a very funny situation which investors need to understand.
Sir, one more thing, like we were talking about top 4 diagnostic company in India. How much they have market share and how consolidated market is in the Western counterparts?
Western counterparts, there is no such situation like in India. Only top 3-4 are having a 15% market share. Remaining 25,000 or 40,000 laboratories have the remaining 85% market share. This is what is India's position. This many players are not there in Western countries. There a lot of consolidation takes place. There the business is not standalone business, as I said. It's our institutional business. And institutional businesses are all insurance covered, insurance guided, insurance channelized. So you don't have this kind of a fragmented market in Western world. In high per capita income, it may not be Western, even in Gulf countries, there is no standalone practice, because of which industry is better organized.
One more question, sir, on hospital side. Say, as an investor, we see hospital as a very low return ratio. Like ROC, we looks at for hospital business, and they generate very low ROCE compared to diagnostic, which is very high ROC. But as an investor, when we value hospital business, what we do is we take a benchmark of, say, Asian hospitals who trade at 18, 20 kind of multiple of EBITDA. EV EBITDA, and then we say that India has a very long runway of growth and we have a higher multiple. But do you think it's wrong because we have a very different cost of capital compared to this Southeast Asian nation?
Any business which has high capex intensive, high capex, obviously your return on capital employed will be less. And hospitals have huge infrastructure cost, number one. Number two, once you are a hospital, you need to put not just small machines, CT, MRI, linear accelerator, PET CT, all those things when you put together is a huge investment. And also first 3, 4, 5 years go without break even. So hospitals have a very, very big challenge of giving returns, and that is why the multiples are not as good as diagnostics. Even in diagnostics, radiology has higher capex, pathology has lower capex. So pathology business has scalability, radiology is not scalable. By the way, I have failed miserably in a radiology business because in radiology you can't do what you do in pathology. In pathology, the specimen can fly across the country. Here, the patient cannot move more than 25-30 kilometers. So, a lot of dynamics are there. I don't think investors understand every dynamic, and even the players also are still not clear about what and all is going to help them to improve their bottom line and the returns to the investor. Having said that, Halka, most profitable, highest PE multiple is in pathology business.
Yeah, Samarth.
Yes, sir. Doctor, sir. One question. You have exited Thyrocare as of now. So, what are your plans for future? Whether you are thinking to be a Shark Tank or a philanthropist for the future, sir?
1 year has gone. Still, I have not become pregnant. And I am keen to rest and relax rather than get into race again, because if I am to run a business, that business was very good to run, I would have run it. Having said that, if I find something truly tempting, I might get in. As of now, there is no specific plan. Also, I want you people to understand, I have only sold Indian business. I have business in 8 more countries. Those business I am doing in a different name. That is managed by a team. I am relaxing, but not that I have completely exited. Only in India I have a non-compete, and I won't be doing business in India in diagnostics and in healthcare.
Thank you, sir.
So, guys, if you have any more questions, you can send in your request. Or Ravi, any more questions? Or Shashank, if you got free, you were saying you have something to ask. Dr. Arpit, we have also sent you a request in case you have any questions. So, sir, in the meantime, say in the health spend, the diagnostic expenditure is small. How you see going forward? I mean, for the maybe the companies on the insurance side, or maybe they get more proactive about preventive healthcare or so. So, how you see going forward on this front, sir?
अच्छे दिन आने वाला है. This is what I will tell as far as diagnostics is concerned, healthcare is concerned. Today, the mean age of an Indian is 28. He is very busy in marriage, honeymoon, and some of them in maternity home searching, some of them in LKG, UKG admissions, buying car, buying house, but no one truly has crossed truly to 35, 40 years of age only will make healthcare as the need. So if you ask me, Indian mean age 28, to go to a mean age of even 35, it will take next 20 years. And for this next 20 years, you will have a better growth than what you had last 20 years. So one is age, that is demography. Number two is per capita income is growing. When per capita income goes, healthcare becomes a priority. Third one is awareness is going, especially after the arrival of COVID. People now understand एंटीबॉडी क्या होता है, पीसीआर क्या होता है, ये किसी को पता भी नहीं था. अभी almost everybody knows what it is. To that extent, if you ask me, the awareness is growing. So awareness growth, per capita income growth, age becoming higher will push. Insurance penetration is 5-7% maximum as of today. It will go to 50% in another 20 years. So that is another push. It will come. Government sees healthcare as an vote bank. Arvind Kejriwal and even Rajasthan Chief Minister has announced healthcare is free. And even Ayushman Bharat says healthcare is free. So the bottom half of the pyramid will be getting a lot of government money inside. So the industry will grow, diagnostics will grow. So that is what you call as better allocation of funds by government also happens. More than anything else, रोज रोज एडवर्टाइजमेंट आता है, थायराइड 100 रुपया में होएगा, विटामिन डी 200 रुपया में होएगा. ये देखकर सभी लोग कंजम्पशन ज्यादा करते हैं. व्हेन द प्राइस इज brought down by competition, consumption goes up. So I see a very good growth. If the last 10-20 years was a CAGR of 15%, next 20 years the CAGR will be 25% is what my personal calculation is. It could be a little lesser, but I am thinking positive.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, Ravi, Samarth, any other questions, or shall we?
We will wind up at 9:15.
Right, sir. So, guys, those who have questions, we can pull you up. Kindly send a request. We have some sir for another 10 minutes. So, any sir, एक बिल्कुल basic question. See, अगर कोई ऐसा है जिसको बहुत ज़्यादा intricacies नहीं पता है और he or she wants to look at the valuations of diagnostic industry, तो मतलब how he or she go about it, मतलब क्या देखना चाहिए एक बार उसमें invest करने से पहले?
ये बहुत मुश्किल की काम है. आज किसी ने ट्वीट किया था, वेलुमनी थायरोकेयर शेयर इज आफ्टर 6 years of listing, it is the same price on listing today. सुनकर बहुत दुख हो रही है. Not only this company, there are many companies, but it is happens to be a healthcare and diagnostic company. Now ये 6 साल में कितनी उतार उतार, कितनी चढ़ाव था, इतना था. इसमें बहुत पैसा बहुत बनाया लोग हैं, बहुत खोया लोग भी हैं. But having said that, company had been consistently performing. There was no challenge in the performance. There was some challenge in a quarter, but overall in a year there was not at all a challenge. That means what? The valuation and the multiples are not decided by the promoters. Same diagnostic companies in exactly a year back was having double the multiples what they are getting today. So it's very, very challenging for any investor to understand diagnostic industry का क्या multiple देना है और या वो इंडस्ट्री में किसको कितना मल्टीपल देना है, ये इतना आसान नहीं है. So I wouldn't be able to give any specific inputs, but one thing I'll tell you, in the long run, diagnostics will be, not only diagnostics, entire healthcare will be a very good script. I don't think in healthcare as a total, when you look at 5-year, 10-year horizon, I don't think you will be any less than any of the indices of the market.
Just one question, sir. Follow up. Where you would be if you would invest? Where you would be more bullish? Radiology side, pathology side, uh, acute illness or chronic illness? Which you think has a longer, faster kind of runway?
To be very honest with you, I will put in every diagnostic company. I won't put in one or two. because the industry will never go wrong. Individual companies could go wrong. I know as an investor, you are tempted to put in that company which is likely to give you 3% more than the industry. You might do that. I am a bit of a conservative investor. If I have to invest, I will pick up pathology top 4, put some money, radiology top 4, put some money, hospitals top 4, put some money, pharma top 4, put some money, and it's a very safe one. You might end up with some 12 to 15% return. उससे ज़्यादा लालच भी नहीं होनी चाहिए. Sorry if I am talking little different, but since you have asked the question, I felt I must talk to you honestly.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Just wanted your view here.
Yes, we have another 5 minutes. किसी को सवाल पूछना है तो पूछिएगा.
एक बहुत बेसिक जैसे रिस्क का जो फैक्टर रहता है वो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट रहता है इन्वेस्टिंग के टाइम पे. तो व्हाट आर दी पॉसिबल रिस्क यू सी इन द स्पेस, तो मतलब इन्वेस्टमेंट करने से पहले लोगों को सोच के चलना चाहिए.
See, other industries like different in the plastic, paint, paper, or finance, various industries have multiple risks of sarkars putting some kind of restrictions and usage, and even import export restrictions all come into picture. When it comes to healthcare, I don't think it will have any challenge. There can be a competition internally, new players may come in, but the more the players, the merrier is the industry. So I don't see in healthcare as a space there is a risk element. Risk element is you have invested in one company, that company had in between a very big fortune of some government business. You looked at the CAGR for the last 3-4 years and you are impressed and you put in money. That contract is gone, and then suddenly the investors will be disappointed if the growth is not there, and multiple will come down and you will be suffering. ये तो बिजनेस टॉप 4 में किसी को तो जानी चाहिए. ये कंपनी ये is lost the business, it has to go to B. So as an industry, I don't see in healthcare any segment, either pharma or in fact pharma has some higher risk than diagnostics, because in pharma some big companies may face some kind of too much of negative publicity, as well as a lot of regulations. Diagnostic industry will not have any challenge. खुल के सभी कंपनियों में 5 कंपनी कम से कम बड़ा कंपनी में अपना फंड्स को अलोकेट करके डिवाइड करिएगा. रिस्क बिल्कुल जीरो रहेगा. मार्केट का रिस्क सेंसेक्स नीचे गया, इंडस्ट्री नीचे गया, कोविड गया, सभी डायग्नोस्टिक स्क्रिप्ट्स डाउन है. But having said that, that kind of risks are not anything individuals can truly assess and be intelligent enough. मैं इतना ही कहूँगा, currently diagnostics is having the lowest price ever one can imagine. If you want truly to see a long-term prosperity, खरीद हो सकता है और भी 3 महीना वैसा ही रहेगा, लेकिन 5 साल का प्लस का इन्वेस्टमेंट में आपको बढ़िया भविष्य रहेगा.
So Ravi, Samarth,